Good day mga batang matinik, halina't pag-aralan natin ang inverse function. Ito po, si Ma'am Sel. So let us define inverse function. Inverse function is a function with domain B and range A given that the original function has domain A and range B. So if we talk about the original function, it is domain A and range B, wherein in inverse function, we use domain B and range A. Next, also defined as a relation reversing the process performed by any function of f of x. And this inverse function of function f is denoted by f raised to the negative 1. Ito po ang kanyang magiging magre-represent sa inverse function, f raised to the negative 1. It is defined by the equation f raised to the negative 1 of y is equal to x. If and only if f of x is equal to y for any y in range B. So let's have an example. This is our original function, f of x is equal to 3x minus 8. If we are going to write this in a table of values, I assigned the values for x, which is negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So, dahil nga itong ating x ay independent variable, so we can assign any numbers that we love or kung ano ang gusto ninyong i-represent kay x since independent naman siya. And then to find the value of y, which is the dependent variable, dependent siya kay x. So, etong mga sagot dito ay makukuha natin if we substitute the values that we assigned in x to the x of the given function. So, if we are going to substitute negative 2 to the x in the original function, which is 3 times x, so magiging 3 times negative 2 na siya, minus 8, that is equal to negative 14. Another one, if we substitute negative 1 to x here, so that will become 3 times negative 1, that is negative 3, minus 8, that is negative 11. Next is 0. 3 times 0, it is equal to 0. Minus 8, that is negative 8. And then 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 8, that is negative 5. And then 2. 3 times 2, 6. Minus 8, that is negative 2. And we are going to show the inverse function of this given original function. This is the inverse function of that. F raised to the negative 1 of x is equal to x plus 8 all over 3. So, ilalagay din natin yan sa table of values. Dito, ang gagawin natin na x or the dependent variable ay yung mga y netong ating given dito sa original function. So, ito yung negative 14, negative 11, negative 8, negative 5, negative 2. So, ito ang pampalit natin, pang-substitute doon sa x, doon sa given ng inverse function. So, to begin, it is equal to negative 14 plus 8 over 3. So, that is equal to negative 6 divided by 3, that is negative 2. Next is negative 11 is a substitute kay x plus 3. Ito ay magiging negative 3 divided by 3, that is equal to negative 1. And then, next is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 8, that is 0. Divided by 3, 0 pa rin po yun. Next, negative 5 plus 3. Since unlike signs sila, isa-subtract natin 8 minus 5, that is 3, divided by 3, that is positive 1. And negative 2 plus 6, that is equal to positive 6, divided by 3, that is equal to positive 2. So if you can see, the values in x is now the values of y in our inverse function. And the values of y is now the values of x in the inverse function. Next. So this is example number 2. I am going to show you the process of how to get or to rewrite the original function into inverse function. So find the inverse function of a rational function h of x is equal to 4x plus 8 all over x minus 3. Step 1, we have to change h of x to 1. So, in changing h of x, we will get y is equal to 4x plus 8 all over x minus 3. So, kung makikita ninyo, ang pinalitan lang natin ay yung h of x. Naging y lang siya. Yung ating expression sa right ay parehas pa rin naman. Next, interchange x and y. So, pagpapalitin lang natin yung place ng mga x at saka y. So, kung dating ito ay y, iyan po ay magiging x. And then, etong mga x ay magiging y. Ito po yon. So, x is equal to 4y plus 8 all over y minus 3. Next step is solve for y by multiplication property of equality. So, how to solve for y by multiplication property of equality? You are just going to multiply the x, the given in the left side of the equation, to the denominator in the right side. So, x times y, that will become xy minus x times negative 3 is negative 3x equal to yung numerator lang natin, which is 4y plus 8. And the next is solve for y by addition property of equality. So, pagsasamahin lang natin, ito pong lahat ng may y. Kasi ang hinahanap nga natin ay isosolve natin yung y. So, hindi natin kailangan si x dyan. Although may x doon, may y pa rin siyang kasama. Kaya ito ay ating pagsasamahin sa kaliwa. Tapos etong may x na walang kasamang y, ililipat natin sa kanan. So, this is xy minus 4y is equal to 3x plus 8. Next is solve for y by factoring. If a factor natin, kukunin natin yung common factor na itong xy minus 4y. So that is y. Then, ang iwan na lang is x minus 4 equal to 3x plus 8. Next, solve for y by multiplication property of equality. So, kailangang matanggal si x minus 4 doon. Kaya ang gagawin natin ay we multiply both sides by 1 over x minus 4. Okay, so makakancel natin ito. Ika-cancel natin to. So, etong xy dito at saka etong xy dito. Ang natira na lang is solve for y, that is equal to 1 times y is equal to y. And then, 1 times y equals y. And then, etong 3x plus 8, imumultiply lang natin kay 1. So, that is 3x plus 8 all over x minus 4. Dahil y na yan, isusulat na natin siya sa inverse function form. So, paano? Lalagyan lang natin ng negative 1 yung h. So, h raised to the negative 1 of x is equal to 3x, eto na yon, plus 8 all over x minus 4. Next, what is inverse of one-to-one function? The inverse of one-to-one function may be known by the principle of undo. That is, by considering the inverses of operation performed. Among the functions, only one-to-one function has inverse, which is a function also. So, lagi niyong tatandaan, ang meron lang inverse ay ang one-to-one function. Next is, a function has its inverse if and only if it is one-to-one. Inverting the x and y of values of a function results in a function if and only if the original function is one-to-one. So, paulit-ulit na sinasabi dyan na magkakaroon ka lang ng inverse function kapag ang iyong function na original is a one-to-one function. So, let us have more practice. Find the inverse function of the following one-to-one function. So, example number 3. F of x is equal to 2x plus 3. Meron tayong sinusunod na mga steps. Sa una, change f of x to y. So, y is equal to 2x plus 3. Next, interchange x and y. So, etong y, magiging x equal to 2x, magiging 2y plus 3. Solve for y. So, we just separate values of y to the other values. So, etong mga term, yung may term lang na y, ang ililipat natin sa kabila by additive inverse. Okay, so by additive inverse, we do x is equal to 2y plus 3. It will become negative 2y is equal to x minus 3. Parang ganito siya. Magiging negative 2y. I'm sorry. Negative 2y is equal to negative x plus 3. So, pinarform natin yung addition property of equality. Ay ma'am, bakit naging negative 2y yan? Nag-multiply tayo both sides by negative 1. Okay, so we multiply both sides by negative 1 and then by multiplication property, negative 1 times negative 2y, that is positive 2y na. Negative 1 times negative 2y, positive 2y, equal to negative 1 times negative x, that is positive x. And then negative 1 times 3, that is negative 3. Next, by dividing both sides by 2, so i-divide natin both sides etong 2y is equal to x minus 3. Para maging y na lang yan, kasi solve for y daw. So, we divide both sides by 2. Cancel natin to. Therefore, y is equal to x minus 3. Kaya merong y is equal to x minus 3 over 2 doon. Next, dahil y na nga po yan, i-rewrite na natin siya as inverse function. So, yung f of x ay magiging f raised to the negative 1 of x is equal to x minus 3 all over 2. Yung sagot natin dito. Kung mapapansin po ninyo, yung operation kanina na x plus 3, naging x minus 3. Tapos yung operation kanina na 2 times x, which is a multiplication, ngayon ay naging division. Wherein, naging, yung ating 2 ay naging divisor na siya. Okay? So, naging x minus 3 all over 2. So, nag-change ang kanyang mga operations na ginamit sa original function. Next, example number 4. Etong example number 4 ay parang parehas lang sa example number 3. So again, we change f of x to y, that is equal to y is equal to 2x minus 1. Pinagpalit natin yung place ni x at saka ni y, so x is equal to 2y minus 1. Next, by multiplication property of equality, so again, magiging 2y yan, negative 2y is equal to negative x minus 1. Okay, so yan yun. And then we multiply both sides by negative 1 para maging positive ito. So, negative 1 and then negative 1, we get 2y is equal to x plus 3. Okay, x plus 1 pala, sorry. So, eto na po yun. Eto na yan. 2y is equal to x plus 1. And then we divide both sides by positive 2. We divide both sides by positive 2. Katulad ng ginawa natin doon sa example number 1. So, ikakancel ulit natin yan. Ang magiging result niyan is y is equal to x plus 1 all over 2. At dahil y na nga yan, pwede na nating isulat sa inverse function. So, f raised to the negative 1 of x is equal to x plus 1 all over 2. Next example number 5, f of x is equal to x plus 2 all over 5. So, again, change f of x to y equal to x plus 2 all over 5. And then, interchange the places of y and x. So, ito ay magiging x, ito ay magiging y plus 2 all over 5. And then, by multiplication property, x times 5 is equal to 5x equal to y plus 2. And then, pwede natin naman na diretso ng ilipat yung positive 2. Ito pong positive 2 para y na lang ang maiwan dyan. So, pwedeng maging 5x minus 2 is equal to y. So, ang nilipat lang natin dyan ay yung ating positive 2. So, ayan na po yun. Inayos lang natin. Y is equal to 5x minus 2. Naka-y na po siya, kaya pwede na natin siya na ilipat sa or i-rewrite sa inverse function form. So, dating f of x magiging f raised to the negative 1 of x is equal to 5x minus 2. So, if you can see po, dati po siyang division. So, divided by 5, dito, multiplied by 5 si x. And then, dating minus 2, ay plus 2, dito po ay naging minus 2. So, nag-change po rin or na-inverse din ang kanyang operation. Next is domain and range of one-to-one function and its inverse function. So, the outputs of the function f are the inputs of f raised to the negative 1. Ang ibig po sabihin nito, yung mga output o yung mga values ng y dito sa ating original function ay mga input dito sa ating or values ng x dito sa ating inverse function. So, the range of f is also the domain of the f raised to the negative 1. So, ang ibig daw sabihin, yung range ng inyo pong original function ay domain ng inyo pong inverse function. Likewise, because the inputs of f are the outputs of f raised to the negative f, the domain of f is the range of f raised to the negative 1. We can visualize the situation like this. So, parang ganito po siya. Ito po yung inyong original function. Ito po ang inyong inverse function. Yung domain ni original function ay siya ngayon ang range ni inverse function. At yung range ni original function, siya ang domain ni inverse function. Yun po ang ipinakita doon sa mga examples 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 5 pala. So, we have 5 examples na. Next is, let's have more practice about that. So, find the inverse function of the following one-to-one function, then fill in the table. So, meron tayo ditong number 6, f of x is equal to 2x plus 3. Okay, so, lalagyan natin ng laman itong ating table. Gamit muna itong ating original function at mag-a-assign ako ng values kay x which is negative 3. I will solve for negative 3. So, f, gamit ang original function, f of negative 3 which is our x is equal to 2 times the negative 3 plus 3. So, pinalitan ko lang, nag-substitute lang ako sa x ng negative 3. That is equal to negative 6 plus 3. That is equal to negative 3. Next is negative 1. So, f of negative 1 is equal to 2 times negative 1 plus 3 is equal to 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 plus 3. That is equal to 1. Next is 0. So, f of 0 is equal to 2 times 3 plus, 2 times 0 plus 3 is equal to 0 plus 3 which is equal to 3. And then, f of 1. So, that is 2 times 1 plus 3 is equal to, 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. And last, f of 3. f of 3 is equal to 2 times 3 plus 3. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3 is equal to 9. So, yan ang ating original function. Kuhanin naman natin yung ating inverse function. Okay, kung naaalala pa po ninyo kung paano mag-rewrite ng inverse function gamit ang or galing doon sa original function, eto po, gawin ulit natin. So, sabi nga, f of x is equal to 2x plus 3. And then, we are going to change f of x by y. That will become y is equal to 2x plus 3. And performing the steps, we will get f raised to the negative 1 of x is equal to x minus 3 all over 2. Okay, so ito na ngayon yung ating inverse function. Gamit ngayon ang ating values for x and y. So ang values kanina natin sa x is negative 3. Yung ating unang value sa original function ni y is negative 3. So, gamit ang negative 3, isa-substitute natin ito doon sa x ng ating inverse function. So, this will become f of negative 3 is equal to negative 3 minus 3 all over 2. That is equal to, dahil like sign sila, add lang natin, copy the common sign, so negative 6 divided by 2 is equal to negative 3. So, yan na ngayon ang value ng ating y. The next value of x in our original function, or value of y in the original function, which is magiging value ni x ngayon dito sa ating inverse function is 1. So, gamitin ulit natin etong 1 na to pang substitute sa x ng ating inverse function. So, f or inverse function of x, which is 1, is equal to 1 minus 3 all over, yung 1 ay pinalit natin sa x doon 1 minus 3 all over 2. So, 1 minus 3, unlike sign, subtract natin. 1 minus 3 is 2. Copy the sign of the bigger number, which is 3, so negative 2 all over 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So, yan ang sagot natin ngayon dito sa ating y. Next value is 3. Okay, so ipapalit nga natin ngayon etong 3 doon sa 3 ng ating inverse function. So, f raised to the negative 1 of 3 is equal to 3 minus 3 all over 2. And then 3 minus 3 is 0 divided by 2 is 0. So, ang sagot natin sa y ay 0. Next is, the value of x is 5. So, 5 minus 3, or f raised to the negative 1 of 5 is equal to 5 minus 3 all over 2 equal to 5 minus 3 is 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. And last is 9. So, f raised to the negative 1 of 9 is equal to 9 minus 3, that is 6, all over 2. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. So, yan ang ating nakuha na values ng ating inverse function. Gamit yung original function kanina doon sa first slide na sinundan natin, ito na ngayon yung ating inverse function. So, compare with the two given, ito po yung original function. Ang nakuha natin kanina ay negative 3 and 3, negative 1 and 1, 0 and 3, 1 and 5, 3 and 9. Dito po sa original function, okay, so iyan po ay original. Ito po ang ating inverse function. So, ang inverse function po natin is, ang nakuha natin is negative 3 and 3, 1 and negative 1, 3 and 0, 5 and 1, 9 and 3. So, kung makikita po ninyo, yung x natin dito sa original ay y dito sa ating inverse function. Tapos, yung y natin dito sa original ay x sa ating original, ay ating inverse function. So, ang domain po ng ating original function, f of x is equal to 2x plus 3 is element of real number. And our range in original function is f of x is equal to 2x plus 3 is element of real number 2. In our domain of the inverse function x, the inverse function of f of x is equal to x minus 3 all over 2 is also an element of real number. And our range of the inverse function f of x is equal to x minus 3 all over 2 is also an element of real number. So, hindi naman tayo magkakaroon dito ng 0 sa denominator kasi yung ating denominator naman is a constant number, which is 2. And that is all for today. So, mag-iwan lang po ako ng kasabihan na math can be related to our lives. It teaches us to always be careful with the signs. And Thank you very much.